So I think a lot about why do humans limit their potential. And the secret is, or the last podcast I was talking about was sort of the challenges of teaching, right? You can't get the only thing you could do is sort of have your say and let people know of what this is going on, and then it's up to them, right? You can't do anything about that. And this is like a bit of the challenges with human potential, right? I've studied this stuff for completely long enough to realize people have enormous potential, but the potential only happens after you've done it for 30, 40 years, done something for 30, 40 years, and you've done it repeatedly over and over and over again. This is a really long-term, really difficult play, right? And it's hard, right? It's hard to sort of do something for that long, and when you're in it in the process, you feel like you're completely losing with it, and you don't really understand. And I can't really, I know that there's a lot of human potential, even just like savings of money, right? If you were to invest 15% of everything that you make in index funds and sort of long-term mutual funds, by the time that, if you started your whole life and you did that, right? You started when you're in your early 20s and you did that. By the time that you were 80, you would have tens of millions of dollars. Just look at it. This is not rocket science. It's not it's not far off. And it's just astronomical, and yet nobody does this. It's a weird phenomenon, right? And virtually everything across the board is like that. We have this enormous potential in our life to do all sorts of really cool and interesting things. And I'm not talking about some people do die young, right? They die at the age of 40 or 50 or 30 or whatever. That definitely does happen. But it doesn't happen as much nowadays in most developed countries around the world. And we forget that we have this enormous human potential to do really exciting things, and yet the vast majority of people choose not to do that stuff, right? To do stuff that is scary and that you would be considering this is a big deal, right? And I don't know how, part of me is, it's just a numbers game. It's like a distribution, right? Not everybody is going to do that, and there's going to be 80% of the people. There's this, the Pareto rule, or the 80-20 rule. You probably have heard, right? 80% of the work is done by 20% of the individuals. That is absolutely true, and it's across the board with all distributions. And the thing is, instead of thinking about the management guru stuff says basically focus on the 20. But why don't the 80% feel like they can't do anything? Or, why aren't they really doing some wonderful things in their life? That they have this enormous human potential. And there's all sorts of reasons, right? Lots of stuff happen, lots of life happens. And I struggle with that because I see the potential that people actually have. And I really struggle with, why aren't you just going gung-ho with it and going just gumption, right? Just going, because that you have this enormous human potential to do wonderful things, and keeping it up and going. And I really struggle with that. And, part of me is that, it's partly sort of chasing, right? That idea of chasing something. Kind of people lose out on that, but at the same time, I think some people sort of get the right balance with that, of go nuts, go hard, and push, and then taking some breaks and things like that, and getting that right balance. And I just don't know why. It's, to be honest, it's kind of heartbreaking to see the human potential that people have across the board. And then we don't sort of jump on that. I'm not saying this from inexperience either. I'm coming from somebody that really didn't grow up with much, like really not. If you knew where I grew up and where I'm now, it's a complete different story, right? And I'm not saying that it had a rough life. Is really actually really pleasant, nice, fun. I loved my family and all that kind of stuff, but just completely different circumstances. And why does that happen? Why don't more people do that, where they're really going and trying? I don't know. I can't sort of get it, that the human nature, the sociological nature of people really can't get it. And they can't sort of register that they just have enormous potential. That they could do some really wonderful things in this world if they just kept trying, just kept pushing, and kept, pushing that boulder up the hill. That's it. And yet I get frustrated inside because I could see that human potential. Just keep pushing is all the message is, right? Like Dory had it right. Just keep swimming. And if we don't do that kind of stuff, then we just lose out on so much potential. Anyways, I think you can do a lot more than what you think. And you just got to keep going at it and choose to actually want to do it every day. All right. Take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.